Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Noodles at Noon, the show that focuses on things that are not worth focusing on. I am your host, who is here and present. How you doing? It is I, it's Ben, and we are joined as always by our co-host, who is also here and present. It's Noah.
Hello. It's great to be here. Just the two of us today.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. But, you know,
just the two of us.
I had one person one time say that they liked the episode that we did that was just the two of us. So at least one person is probably going to like this episode.
That's, you know what? That makes me feel confident and special.
And it's like starfish in the sand, you know? We're throwing that one starfish into the ocean.
Well, no. Okay.
Is that
no
too much
to
here. Equate our podcast with throwing starfish back in the ocean?
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever, held a starfish. So...
I touched one at the Seattle Aquarium, and then a lady told me...
Were you allowed to?
No. I think you're supposed to touch the other things, but not... Oh, no. You could touch the starfish, you couldn't touch the plants. So immediately I was, touching the plant. And I think it was Jesse just said, no, you're not supposed to touch that. So
I love how you introduce your wife as some lady.
I thought it was some lady, and then I remembered...
You're not supposed to touch that.
It was
your wife.
Some lady.
It was just my wife.
This is how I introduce her when we go out. Hi, I'm Noah. This is some lady.
This is some lady who I met. She's my wife.
She followed me. She got in the car with me. She followed me out of my house.
Yeah, that's strange. Well, thank you all so much for listening to episode 50 of Noodles at Noon.
Whoa.
We've done 50 of these darn things, which means in 2 weeks, it'll be episode 52, which seems like an arbitrary number, but that is 1 year of noodling at noon. Noodling? Is that where you that's just a different form of catfishing. Which I guess is what we're doing.
We're catfishing
people?
Catfishing
you this entire time, but it hasn't worked because money, please. But for episode number 52, or the 1 year anniversary episode, Noah, tell the people all the wonderful things that we're going to be doing.
I think I heard rumors about a hot tub stream. I think a bouncy castle is going to be here.
Bouncy castle in the hot tub. It's a big hot tub with a bouncy castle in it.
We're going to record from inside a bouncy castle. So
that's in a hot tub.
Ben, what are we doing today? And we're just bouncing up and down. And then guests are going to join us in the bouncy castle throughout the podcast. Like old favorites like Daniel and Jesse, and even bring back Andrew, who's never listened to an episode. They'll just bounce into the castle for 2 minutes and then bounce out the other side. Yep. Or we get to throw them out. Better yet.
We can throw out all of our least favorite guests we've ever had.
It's like a Survivor. We bring all the guests back for a game of Survivor, and then we vote them off one by one.
But the voting is just me and you.
Yeah.
And we decide individually, no, we don't like you. Go away now.
Even Michael, he's a guest. He doesn't get a...
He is at risk of being voted off.
That's true.
Doesn't yet. But really, though, it will be the 1 year anniversary, and we'll do something special. We'll let you know next week what that will be, because we're going to take this week, and by this week, I mean the 20 minutes before we start next week's show, to figure out what we're going to be doing for our 52nd
Let's
episode.
Be real here.
Let's be real here. Yeah. None of this is planned in advance.
Well, Ben, I noticed that your background is different today.
My background is different today. First of all, thank you so much for listening to Noodles at Noon. You can find us at noodlespodcast.com.
Noodlespodcast.com. I guess I have to carry the weight
anywhere.
on that this week.
Yeah, you really do. Or anywhere podcasts are available, like Stitcher, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, and this week coming to you live from Cancun, Mexico.
Did you play any Noodles at Noon in Cancun?
Noodles at Noon in Cancun?
Noodles at Noon. That's like our vacation episode.
Noodles
on
at
location.
Noon in Cancun. Noodles at Noon. We need our own song. I did. My mom did. It's what she used to fall asleep.
Does she still?
Yes, she does.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I feel honored.
You should. because you're the one who makes her fall asleep. You individually. Anytime it was like me or Michael or one of the special guests, she would bolt right awake, and then you would start talking, and she would just.
It's true. I've tried every week. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and be hype this week, and I feel like I go into it and I'm super hyper. I feel like I'm like ridiculously over the top, and then I go back and listen to it Monday morning at work, and it's like, hi, I'm Noah. I'm here to be on the podcast or whatever.
Hi, I'm Noah. I'm 23 years old. Hi, Noah.
I'm a
yes, my
convicted-
background is different. I've been. No, you don't have to say that on the podcast. My background is different. I'm currently at my new apartment that I'm finally moved into now that my car is fixed. Congratulations to my car for being fixed and allowing me to come to my new apartment. As Noah can see, all the walls are blank, and it is very, very white. I modeled it after me, white and empty.
White and empty inside. Are you gonna hang up?
Yes,
like,
that's my background.
Are you gonna put up like big anime posters, or what's the decor gonna be?
Yeah, I've got a nice Russian propaganda posters that I'm gonna put up. They're gonna look real nice next to my hammer and sickle.
Your roommates are gonna get real worried about.
Real concerned.
They just walk by your door and you see all these propaganda posters, a giant Russian flag.
All the lights are red and dim. That reminds me, I have an app on my phone that I've had for a very long time. It's one of the apps I've had for the longest on my phone. And I never delete it because it's simple and it doesn't take up much room on my phone. But it's this big red button, as you can see right there. And all you do is you push the big red button.
Is it supposed to?
And it plays the Russian national anthem.
Oh, Discord's kind of cutting it out, but
Yeah, you can't hear it on Discord, but people in the podcast can hear it. So that's my favorite app.
that seems really
and that'll
useful.
just be playing on repeat. Yeah, I don't know why I have it, but I do. It showed up in my suggested feed one day after looking at a bunch of Russian propaganda. But yeah, so I'm in my new place, finally going to get settled in here. So it's very nice. It's not in Mexico. I didn't move from Fairbanks to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So not coming to you live from Cancun. That was referring to the vacation that I went on that we'll get to later. But Noah, your background looks lovely. There's a boat back there.
There is a Lego pirate ship back there. It's my favorite piece of decor. There's also a new poster here. I'm going to move so you can check it out.
Your microphone's in the way. Ooh, it's fungus.
It's a bunch of mushrooms. Our prison room.
There's a bunch of shrooms in it.
We've tried to, I don't know, theme it up a little bit. Actually, we were really inspired by your brother, because Jesse and I just house sat for your brother and sister-in-law.
And all the shrooms that they have.
Well, they have a whole room that's just entirely dedicated to whales. Like, it's
the whale room.
Incredibly themed. Yeah, the whale room. It's incredibly themed. And our room here, I mean, we have a mushroom poster, a picture of Windsor Castle, and a Lego pirate ship. So I don't really know what our theme is here. There's some Star Wars stuff over here. It's kind of a mishmash. So we're trying to figure out, how can we tie this into a cohesive theme?
Well, you're doing it well. I can see the effort that has been put forth, and I'm proud of you.
As in, we hung up one poster.
As you hung up a poster that still didn't really match the rest of the theme of the room, but whatever. We've been inspired by the themed rooms, so we're going to add a new theme to this room, which has no theme.
Mushrooms. We don't even have a box spring
Mushrooms.
yet. There's still just a mattress on the floor here and a lamp on the floor. So it's still a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. We'll get
Yeah.
there. I'll help you. Just, you should theme it up with every piece of Noodles at Noon merch that we sell.
Oh man, I would love to turn this in. We could like frame the Noodles at Noon t-shirt. Like our friend Brian Stanley from the Journeys of Scientist podcast has. Just cover this back wall in Noodles memorabilia.
Exactly. Speaking of which, go to newspodcast.com.
Newspodcast.com.
Click on the store button and you can buy whatever you want. We'll sell you the show if you'd like.
What would you like legitimately if someone made an offer? What would the offer have to be for you to sell Noodles at Noon? Because that's what John Krasinski did with his show.
Yeah, with his show. Well, what would they do with it? Would they just become the hosts of it?
Let's say you don't get you're completely removed from it. You don't get to host. You don't get to do anything.
Oh, that sounds great.
You don't even have to listen.
No, I don't have to listen anymore. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I mean, part of me is just like, well, if someone like offered me like a lot of money, whatever that means, I'd be like, okay, that's stupid to not take it. But I mean, I don't really do this to make money. I just do it for fun because I like talking to my friends and having a good time and laughing. So like, clearly the point here isn't to make money, otherwise we would have tried.
I'm just wondering if like legitimately someone came and offered us $1,000, like, you know, not $10 million, just like $1,000 for the domain and the podcast intellectual property.
I'd need a really good written explanation as to why.
That's a good point. Like, what do you know that we don't know?
Like, what are you going to use this for? That like, I'm not. I'd get suspicious before I got excited.
I mean, I think it would have to be like, if anybody would want to buy anything of ours, it would probably be the domain name noodlespodcast.com. Like if Noodles and Company started their own podcast or something.
We're still holding on to hope with fabulouswildmen.com.
Someday
that's gonna pay off big. Because I have a 33% share in Fabulous Wild.
That's true. You Venmo'd me that $10 or whatever.
Yeah, and worth every penny.
All right, that's fabulouswildmen.com.
Fabulouswildmen.com. My roommate's probably really confused by what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're going to have to get used to that.
Yeah, probably.
Man, well, I have this giant Slurpee here. I'm trying to tell what size this is. It's an extra large. I'm going to Google this. What size is an extra large Slurpee? I have never gotten a Slurpee this large before.
Well, for reference, this Gatorade next to me is 20 fluid ounces, so I'm going to guess that's like 46.
It looks like it's 40 ounces even. Yeah, okay. So you and I both, we're tired. We've had a long day.
Yours has been longer.
Well, I don't know. We've both...
I showed up an hour later.
That's true. You were late. So we helped our friends, James and Rachel, friends of the podcast, move this morning. And then I went and helped some other friends move, and you went and moved yourself.
I did.
So it's been a moving day.
It has been a moving day. As I said, Noah showed up an hour before I did because I'm perpetually late at everything that I do. But in my defense, he broke two things and I didn't. So,
I did. And I was trying to remember what the second thing is. I broke the couch and then I broke something else, but I can't remember now what it was.
It was a drawer. You smashed a drawer against a wall.
Oh, I did do that. That was me.
Which is funny because James and I were carrying we were carrying like a dresser up the stairs,
and I was just carrying two drawers.
But you were kind of like the first time you're kind of just goofing around and you like jumped up the last two stairs, and I said like I'm gonna laugh when you like trip and smash the drawers, and then the next time you're bringing them up, you didn't trip and smash them, you just banged them against a wall.
I think they were fine though. I've offered to help pay for the couch leg. The couch is still functional. It's just a little wobbly because one of the legs is at an angle now. Yeah. So I think the lesson there is you get what you pay for.
Yep.
And this is why movers are like $150 an hour.
That's why I should become a mover.
Yeah, Ben, all right.
I'll show up late. But I'll move the stuff.
If you don't care about punctuality, but you do need like a 500-pound dresser moved, Ben is your guy. Ben was like I was trying to take something up with him, like a bookshelf. Like I was trying to take the front half and he was trying to take the back half, and finally he just goes, "No, I'll put it down." And then he just picked it up by himself and carried it up. Because I was like dead weight.
I didn't want it to hurt your ankles.
That's what he says, but I think Ben's just too good. Ben can't be tied down to another person.
No, clearly not. No, but I had a fun time moving stuff. I've told people many times the way I stay in shape is I help somebody move like once a week.
Yes.
And I stay in shape. And if you're Noah, you help two people move at the exact same time once a week, because he apparently had to help somebody move at the exact same time that he was helping James and Rachel move. Which is the second week in a row that you've done this. Or no, maybe it's not second week in a row, but it's the second time you've done this where you've double booked yourself.
Yes. I am the king of double booking right now.
Podcast family, we need to gather around our brother Noah. This is sounding more and more like a cult. And stage an intervention, because he needs to stop overworking or double booking himself. He needs to rest. He needs to observe the Sabbath. Noah, take a break. Go to Mexico. Sit on a beach with a virgin pina colada, or not a virgin pina colada. I don't know. You do you, brah. And just chill.
That sounds pretty good right now. And I do want to hear about your Mexico trip, especially after my week of, I think I put in about 60 hours this week between my 2-ish jobs. I took Monday off from my regular job to try and build an app in a day. And I was going to talk about this last week, but we ended up recording for like an hour and a half. So it was a long show last week.
It was a long show last week.
I cut a lot out. And not even because it was inappropriate this time, just for time.
Yeah.
But I woke up at 6 a.m. and I said, all right, I need to build this web app for a client. I'm going to try and build the whole thing in a single day and just see how that goes. And it was like, it had calendar functionality. It had a database that had to be hooked up. It had multiple levels of user permissions and user logins. I did not get it all done in a day, but from 6 a.m. to about 9:30 p.m., I sat in a corner in Ben's brother's house and worked on this app. Took a couple of breaks to eat some food and play with the cat and the dog, just to kind of take a break for a few minutes. It was really fun. I think this is like the best way I work, because like at my normal job, I'll work on like a program for a couple hours and then get sidetracked with something else. And then I won't get back to it for like a week because I get sidetracked with other things. And then I come back and I spend like 2 hours trying to remember, what is this code I wrote? I don't even remember this.
Exactly, yeah.
So just sitting and like putting 16 contiguous hours into an app, it's definitely the most efficient way to code. But now that it's end of the week, all that work, moving for like 7 hours today, I have this 40-ounce Slurpee in my gut now. I'm ready to hear about your relaxing Mexico trip. What did you do? What did you drink? What did you party?
Well, we got stranded on a highway.
Oh.
We had to walk back to our resort. That was the relaxing Mexico trip. No,
that was the whole
I'm
week.
kidding.
It took them 4 days to hike back.
That only took us like half an hour, but that did happen. But it only took it like half an hour. No, it was good. Got there last Sunday. Yeah. So when in this past episode, when I said by the time you listen to this, I'll be chilling on a beach in Mexico, I probably was. One thing that I discovered I love is snorkeling. Now, I hate water. I don't like boats. I don't necessarily like swimming. But for whatever reason, I really like snorkeling. It was a lot of fun. And I think the reason that I don't like swimming is because I can't see anything and I can't breathe.
Right.
But with snorkeling, you can see things and you can breathe. And the things you see are pretty cool.
What kind of sea life did you see? Ocean life?
Oh, I saw a couple stingrays. The things
Really?
with the... Yeah. That's my impersonation of a stingray. They go... It's a pretty big one, too. A pretty big stingray. Lots of little fish. I had this one fish that would hang out with me. This one time I was snorkeling, it would like come up to my face and then it would like swim around behind me, and then it would swim like underneath me and back in front of my face, and then it'd stare at me and then just loop around me again. And it would just keep doing that. Did that for like 5 minutes.
Was that like unnerving, or was that like, I have a friend?
It was more like I have a friend, because
Okay.
it was like this big. It was a little fish.
Aw.
It wasn't. If it was like a shark, maybe
I have
I'd be more concerned.
I have
I have a shark friend. But no, and like you swim out and you see like different reefs and stuff and a bunch of little fish and like schools of fish. And the water's pretty clear there, and the water's actually really warm there too, because it's the place we were at. It was like in between Tulum and Cancun, so it's on the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico. So lots of warmer water. And yeah, so the snorkeling was fun. I will say, I think I finally convinced my parents that we should no longer go to really, really hot places in the middle of the summer.
In July.
Yeah, that was a bit not fun from time to time. It was, the AC the first night in the room that we were in stopped working, and we called them and we were like, hey, the AC stopped working last night. And they're like, oh yeah, it'll be fixed by noon. And then by noon it was admittedly better, but still not great. And then apparently we like looked on the reviews, and apparently they've been saying it'll be fixed by noon for like months. So that's just the way it was in our building. My brother and sister-in-law, that's why Noah was staying there, they were with us. Their room in their building that they were in, their AC was much better. So
did you guys
that
like
was good for them.
spend probably more time than you were welcome over at their place because it was so much cooler?
No, not really. We really went over there one time. We should have gone over there more, because they're like, oh yeah, come over anytime. As far as you asked what we drank, I had a lot of virgin mojitos.
Ooh.
And one of those are really good. If you don't know what they are, it's like club soda, lemon juice or lime juice, and mint leaves all crushed up and stirred up and tangled up in Jesus. And that was like an old Sunday school song. I'm all wrapped up, I'm all tied up, I'm all tangled up in Jesus. But one of the things, so like, because I don't drink alcohol, not for like any particular reason other than like I think it smells kind of gross, so I'm like, might drink it.
Valid, very valid.
Yeah, so I looked up like non-alcoholic drinks you can get from bars, because the place we were at, it was like a full service resort, so there was just like bars you can go up to and be like, hey, I want one of these, and they'll bring it to you.
Give me one of these.
Give me one of these. So I looked it up, and it was like, there's the Shirley Temple, which is like Sprite and cherry, whatever. And then there was one below it, and it said it's called the Roy Rogers, and it said it was the more masculine version of the Shirley Temple, and it was Coca-Cola and cherry. So I was like, oh, that actually sounds really good. It's just like a really nice cherry Coke. So I went down to one of the beachside bars or whatever, and I was like, hey, I was acting all cool.
Hey,
I was like, I know what
sunglasses
I'm
on.
Hey,
You like whip them off.
yeah. I was like, can I get a Roy Rogers? And they just stared at me, and I was like, it's Coca-Cola with cherry. And the guy goes, oh, in Mexico we call those the Mickey Mouse.
That sounds so emasculating.
And I was like, there goes the masculine part of what I was going for. So the rest of the vacation, I was like, I'll have a Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. Was it good?
That was so good.
Better than a Shirley Temple?
I think so.
I don't know that I've ever had a Shirley Temple.
They're good.
I might have
It's
to
funny.
check that out at my local
The first
bar.
your local bar. Go up to like the nastiest biker dive bar in your area. If you're like, hey, can I have a Shirley Temple?
Give me a Shirley Temple and a
like-
chaser of water
Chaser of water on the rocks.
on the rocks.
Yeah.
Extra
We also visited-
Splenda.
Extra Splenda. Leave the stevia in. Yeah, we went to some ruins as well. Very old.
Ooh, which ones?
Very ruined. The ones in Tulum.
I'm gonna have to look that up. We went to Chichen Itza a while ago.
Yeah, it's like
Is
3
that near
hours
there?
from
Okay.
Cancun.
I think ruins
No.
are really fascinating.
They are. The only problem was it felt like it was 101 degrees
Oh yeah.
that day. So it was 90 with like 70% humidity. So my thing was like, it feels like it's 101 degrees. I'm like, it feels like I should go home.
Well, it's right on the cliff with like the ocean underneath, so just jump in.
Yeah, it's about an 80-foot drop.
I mean, if there's water at the bottom, it's fine. That's Minecraft rules.
That's true. That's true. Oh, that was one thing I was going to say. And because I was trying to think of like a reason that I like snorkeling so much. And the reason that I came up with, and I recognize this might be sad, but it's the best way I could describe it, is that when you're like swimming around snorkeling, it feels like you're in Minecraft and like you discover like a new little terrain area.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is cool. Like, oh, there's some animals over here. This is fun. I'm going to hang out here for a while.
And you see an
do
Enderman in the
that.
background.
Yeah, that would have not been good. I would have not enjoyed that.
In Minecraft, there are fish that shoot lasers at you. So
There are?
there's-
Where?
Yes, and we need to do it on our server. There are these underground temples with fish that shoot lasers at you, and there are 3 bosses inside, and you have to beat them all.
Oh, that sounds nice. That sounds fun.
It's awesome. We should do it. Let's get Daniel on that.
Okay, Daniel, if you're listening, get on that.
Get us all outfitted like
Get us
all
off.
the other times.
I will be of no help to you. I'm going to die many times. And yeah,
So what was your
But yeah, that-
absolute favorite part of the trip?
this snorkeling was the most fun.
That does sound really cool. I need to, I don't know, take snorkeling equipment to our local lake, I guess.
I thought about that because I was like, where in my area can I go enjoy my newfound hobby of snorkeling? And I'm like, nowhere?
Nowhere. You could go to the
I'm in a
aquarium,
relatively
break into
landlocked region.
yeah, because Fairbanks, Alaska, it's you know how it
We're way far
be.
inland.
the water's probably I don't know pretty cold near us, I guess.
It probably is if we would have ever touched it.
Well, it sounds like a great trip. I'm glad you had a good time, and
It was.
that sounds really fun.
Yeah, I'm back now. Went back to work on Friday. So we got home Thursday and I went to work on Friday.
What time did
For
you get
one
home on
day.
Thursday? It was pretty
We
late,
got
right?
Probably around 9 p.m.
And just back to work. You didn't even take the full
Back
week?
to work. Nope.
Just 4 days.
Nah, man.
Back
Poor
to
work-life balance, bro.
Do you
That's how
have
we get things done.
Do you have good PTO accrued at this point, or not like me?
I have unlimited PTO.
Oh, you're one of those cool trendy places.
Hey, yeah.
I used to work at one of those, and there was a guy in our IT department that took 7 weeks off in the year I was there. And
They say
like,
you shouldn't take more than like a week off during the month. Like,
can you take a week off every month though?
I haven't tried it. I've thought about trying it.
I mean, just go for it. Just see how long, because you'll get talked to before you get fired. So
Yeah.
just do that till
Well,
you get talked to.
I had a thing, and I was, because my supervisor for my team, she recently found a new job, so she was leaving, and she was the one who would approve all of my paid time off, and I was like, what if on like her last day, I just requested the entire month of July off because it wouldn't affect her in any way.
Right? What does she care?
I would just be like, well, look, it was approved. Bye, everybody.
Every now and then when I'm working, I'll like start thinking about, man, I'd really like to take, just a Friday off or something soon. And I did that this week, and I pulled up my app. Like, I think I have like 40, 50 hours in there, and I open it up and I have like less than 20 hours of PTO. So maybe not. We'll see.
You can take the UPTO.
Unpaid
time off.
I might do that. In fact, that's kind of what I did on Monday, but worked for my secret side job. So it all kind of works out.
Shh.
I suppose.
It's a secret.
Secret side job. No, it's okay. My real work knows about my fake work. My second life.
Your double life.
My double life. Second life is a video game, I guess.
Half-Life.
No, Second Life. It's like one of the original MMOs.
Really?
Yeah. I don't even know if it's still around anymore.
Does MMO stand for Mixed Martial Arts?
Massively multiplayer online. That's it.
Mixed Martial Arts. That's what it stands for in my mind.
Mixed
and you
martial
cannot
arts.
change my mind. This is a mixed martial arts game.
Well, all right, did you watch any Olympics yet?
I've watched some of the opening ceremony. I think I texted you while it was going on.
That's true. That was kind of a leading question. I actually knew because we were texting about it last night.
People don't know this, but Noah and I talk.
Which is a problem. And we talked about this today that like we'll start to tell a story and we'll be like, no. Save it for the podcast. Don't talk to me right now.
Or I said something funny and you told me to stop and save it for the podcast. And I was like, I don't think this joke will be applicable when we're doing the podcast.
I don't want you to get all your jokes out before the podcast.
I'm not, I don't know. I get like one joke a day. That's what my mind allows me.
And he blew it while we were moving this morning.
And I blew it. I can't even remember what I said.
Could tell No, never mind. We have no edit notes so far on the show, and I've determined to keep it that way.
Should we keep it that way?
Yeah.
Oh, your other joke was
my
really
other joke,
funny.
my accidental. Anyway, well, I have not so much a game this week, but I have something that I thought would be fun to go over because I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I get super into the Olympics, and I don't know why. I'm not into any sports really, like at all. But the Olympics, every time they come around, I don't know if it's just the limited time thing where, if I don't watch it now, I can't watch it for another 4 years or what it is, but I just really enjoy it. And there's definitely...
I've enjoyed it in the past. I'm starting to enjoy it less and less. Because as I told you when we were texting about it, when we were watching the Parade of Nations, I was like, I can't watch the Parade of Nations because it's just a bunch of young, attractive people living their dreams, and that's kind of depressing to me.
That text kind of made me really sad.
I could tell because you're like, oh, how can I help? I was like, no, it's a joke. You don't have to help. It was supposed to be funny.
It was interesting watching the opening ceremony. Like, I feel like even the broadcasters that were commentating the event I don't think they're all on board that the Olympics should happen. It was very much a downer. A lot of it was a downer. Like, should these Olympics be happening right now? Oh, there's protesters outside the stadium that you can hear right now. And I totally get it. I feel incredibly sorry for the people of Japan having to put up with these Olympics going on and like all the crazy amount of money that gets spent on these things and just the people that are going to be at risk because of all of the different countries coming into Japan. It's I guess I still feel like the games should not be happening, but they are, and I have been watching them. So there's that. But with that said, I started looking up some interesting facts, and I just enjoy learning about the history of the Olympics and all that goes into them. And I started having questions like, why are the countries in this order and different things like that? So are you ready
to answer that one
for some fun facts? Actually, Ben, you might know this first one. So the Parade of Nations, that happens.
Are you going to phrase it like a question so I can guess? Or
No, this isn't a game. This is a discussion corner.
I only like competing. You know that.
All right, Ben. Why are the flags in the order? Why are the countries in the order that they are in?
Because Greece always goes first because they hosted the first Olympics, or they created the Olympics, and then it's and then the new refugee team goes after them because they don't have a country, and then it is alphabetical by the language of the country that the Olympics are in.
Yes, that's exactly right. Greece always goes first because the very first modern Olympic Games. Do you know when they were held?
200 BC?
The modern Olympic Games, like in its current form.
Oh. Not 1904. I'm going to guess 1860. No. 1888.
You're really close with both 1904 and 1888. It was 1896 was the very first Summer Olympics. And yeah, it happened in Athens, Greece, which is why Greece gets to always go first. Then the refugee team, then all of the nations in the alphabetical language of the host country. So in this case, Japanese, it was very interesting. Like, oh, all the G's are going, and then, oh, all the T's are going. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So it's alphabetical in Japanese. And then the last three teams are the 2028 host country, the 2024 country, and the 2020 country. So third to last was us, the U.S., because we're hosting
in Los Angeles
in 2028. 2024 is Paris, and then 2020 is, of course, Tokyo, or 2021. So I thought that was interesting, just the order.
Yeah, I knew that Japan went last. I didn't know that the penultimate and third to last ones were the upcoming host countries. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I also have some interesting facts about the gender breakdown. So, Ben, here's another question. I bet you can get it right. Do you think there have traditionally been more men or women at the Olympic Games?
Traditionally, there have been more men.
Yes, that is true.
However, isn't this year, isn't it like 49% female to 51% male or something like that?
So this is the most equal it has ever been. And I wanted to run back through the history. The very first Olympics back in 1896, if I can find my table. So in 1896, there were 43 men-only events. And guess how many women events?
2.
0.
Oh, I was going to guess beach volleyball. Still there somehow.
Yeah, if there was one that men would keep, it would be beach volleyball. 1920 went from 146 men-only events to 8 women and mixed events. Women start to come up a little more, a few more women events every time, women and mixed. I'm not sure why they're lumped together, but finally by 1976, it was 149 men to 49 women. Finally, in 2016, it was 161 men to 145 women in mixed events. So almost equal. This year in Tokyo, 48.8% of the athletes competing are women, which is the most equal it's ever been.
That's basically 49. That's basically what I said.
Yeah. So it's pretty close. It's the most gender balanced, and that's really cool. I mean, it's sad that
it's taken this long.
Like, and I'm sure there are other gender imbalances in other parts of the organization.
Yeah.
China is actually leading the way with the most female participation. 69% of their 433 person team are women.
Nice.
So I thought that was kind of cool, and I wish our female guest had been here to talk about it, because I feel like she would have been really interested in that. But
I think she would have too.
Anyway, it's great to see.
We're not going to call anybody out.
It's great to see more female representation, and hopefully that just continues to equal out in all levels of the sport, not just on the athlete part, but in leadership and in everything else.
Do you have the sports that are still like male only? Because like I was trying to think about that. I'm like, I guess baseball, but then there's softball, which would kind of balance it out because there's not a men's softball in the Olympics, but there's not a women's baseball team in the Olympics.
That's a good question. The decathlon is still only for men, apparently. The 50-kilometer race walk is also only for men.
Wait, hang on. Wait. Wait.
Do you know what race walking is?
Yeah, wait, how long of a race is it?
50-kilometer.
Oh, I thought you said 50 meter.
Oh.
I was like, Noah, we can be Olympians.
The 50-meter walk.
It's just a walk for 50 meters.
I love race walking. I think it's one of the funniest looking sports.
Wasn't there an episode of Malcolm in the Middle about it? I think there was. Where like the dad gets in like super into race walking, and he like gets involved in a race walking gang.
It just looks so silly. I'm sorry. My apologies to any race walkers in our audience.
Do you think they tried to have a women's race walking event and they were all just like, no,
nah, we're good.
We're good. We don't need that.
We can skip that one. Men can have that one.
Yeah, you can keep that one for yourself.
Also, shout out to our women's soccer team, the U.S. women's soccer team that was favored to be, possibly a contender for the gold medal. They lost their first game pretty poorly to Sweden, but I watched their next game this morning. They do still have a chance to come back against New Zealand, and they won 6-1. So it's the most interested I've ever been in soccer. It was really interesting. So go U.S. women's soccer team, hopefully.
Yeah. Did the men's soccer team even make it?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. They kept talking about the women's soccer team on the opening ceremony last night, but they didn't once mention the men's soccer team.
Yeah,
so
historically they haven't been good. Like I don't think they made the last men's World Cup.
We get basketball, so that's fine.
True.
Well,
our women's basketball team is going to win gold too.
Yeah, that's because no other, what other countries care about basketball like America, like the U.S.?
Argentina.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Are they really into basketball?
Argentina's super into basketball.
Oh. It just I feel kind of bad because apparently we've won, at least in the men's, I think we've won the last 4 Olympics basketball games.
Yeah.
So,
well, ever since they made it so it used to be if you were like a professional athlete, you couldn't compete in the Olympics. So if you were a professional baseball player, you couldn't compete in the Olympics. If you were a professional basketball player, you couldn't compete in the Olympics. And then they changed it to where you could. And now it's like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, basically the all-star basketball team.
Bugs Bunny was in there somehow.
Bugs Bunny was there. Basically, they all just get sent and beat everybody.
Clean house.
Yeah. It is really funny though because the U.S. men's basketball team will play Uruguay or something, and after the game when the score's 88-12, is all the Uruguay basketball players will hey, can you sign my shoes?
I'm sure they're oh my goodness, I can't believe I got to play with LeBron
they don't even
James.
care that they lost. They're just this was the most fun thing we've ever done.
They're so starstruck on the court, just oh my gosh, I can't believe I just got the ball stolen from me by Kevin Durant.
Yeah. So that's always really cool. My favorite Olympic event is badminton because I love badminton.
Yes. Yeah, I can't remember what country it was they were talking about last night, but there is one country that is super into badminton, and they draw
You're
like
right.
tens of thousands of people to badminton games.
What was that? Or which country was it? I remember hearing them talk about that, and I was like, hey, that's cool. It wasn't like Croatia or something.
Was it Indonesia?
It may have been.
I think it's Indonesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's cool. Like, I would love to go watch a professional badminton game. That sounds awesome.
That sounds so cool. What other facts do you have? Because I remember a few facts.
Well, you also touched briefly on the Olympic refugee team, and I wanted to just highlight that. I think that's really cool. There are 29 athletes who are competing on the refugee Olympic team. They come from 11 countries: Afghanistan, Cameroon, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Eritrea, Iran, Iraq, the Republic of Congo, South Sudan, Syria, and Venezuela. And I think Jessie put it best last night when she said, I hope they win every medal that they are in. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think that's cool. I actually don't know if I assume they've done this before, right? Is this not a first time?
Last year was the first year they've done it, and I think they had something like 6 athletes last year, and now they're up to a lot more than that, like 30, I think.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Rio, 5 years ago, was the first time. There were 10 athletes from 4 nations that made up the
Okay.
first refugee Olympic team. So
Nice.
that's cool. I think that's really cool. I also wanted to, not lastly, I have 2 more fun facts.
Ooh.
Do you know who the youngest Olympian is this year?
Yes, her name is Henzaza.
You're exactly right.
She is
She
from
is-
Syria, and she plays
You're-
table tennis.
You're exactly right. So she's 12 years old, Henzaza from Syria. She beat out a 42-year-old Mariana Shakian of Lebanon in the West Asia Olympic qualification tournament in Jordan to come to the Olympics. So, I mean, I've played table tennis with a few 12-year-olds before, and I'm not that good at table tennis.
But and I beat all of them, but I wouldn't beat her.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That's so cool. Especially like Syria's dealing with the civil war. She's been dealing with a lot in her home country, but she is a crazy table tennis star, and that is so cool.
Fun fact about her: she's already been eliminated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did she win anything?
No, she was eliminated.
Like,
in
in the first round?
In the first round,
Oh,
the youngest
okay.
Olympian at the Tokyo Games was knocked out of competition in her first round on Saturday. But you know
Oh.
what? She probably has many great years of being in the Olympics ahead of her.
That's the thing. I mean, when she comes back when she's 15, because it'll only be 3 years from now, think how much better
Yeah,
she's
it's
going to
true.
be.
Think
That's
about
so
if she had
cool.
made it last year, she would have been 11.
Yeah. Wow.
Dang.
So that is so cool. And then on the flip side, do you know who the oldest? Actually, this is not the oldest Olympian, but the oldest Olympian was in shooting, and I thought gymnastics was kind of more impressive. I'm
More,
sorry
yeah.
to
I can't remember her name.
sexagenarian shooters, but Oksana Chusovitina.
Is she from Argentina?
She's from Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. She's like 46?
She's 46, exactly.
Yes.
Competing in gymnastics. And I wanted to read this part that said, 5 years before Simone Biles was born, she won gold at the 1992 Barcelona Games. So she's been around a long time. She's been
she's been
competing
around.
longer than Simone Biles has been alive.
I remember
she's
last year, or not last year, but the last Olympics, they were talking about her. I was like, oh, that's super cool. And then this year they were like, oh, hey, look, it's her again. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's still here.
She's still here. Yeah. And she's the only female gymnast to compete in 7 summer games spanning over 4 decades. The only female gymnast to compete in that many. And she will become the oldest Olympic gymnast to have ever competed at the Olympic Games, this time in Tokyo.
Nice.
So that's really cool. I mean, like, just to keep that up for so long, you know, that's very inspiring. That's really cool.
And also, Like, I'm 23 and I can barely touch my toes.
Yeah, I can only do like a
is.
triple backflip, so
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's why we didn't
I don't
make
need to do it on camera, you know, but I can do it. And then my last fun fact, and I think you know this one too if you watch the opening ceremony, the seeds that were planted 50 years ago. Did you hear about this?
Yes, the seeds that were planted
So-
50 years ago when they were in... Yeah, you go. You have it written down. I'll probably
In
get it
Tokyo.
wrong.
Yeah, in 1964, that was the last time that Tokyo hosted the Olympic Games. Athletes were asked to plant trees to commemorate the competition. 57 years later, now in 2021, they have harvested wood from these trees and they use them to carve 5 wooden Olympic rings that were in the opening ceremony. There was a musical number. A lot of people were working together in building while a traditional Japanese work song played. And in the end, they wheeled together these 5 Olympic rings that were made out of the trees that were planted from athletes all across the world at the 1964 Tokyo Games. And I thought that was awesome.
That is really cool. I love when like stuff ties back to like former Olympics. Like when they were in last time they were in Russia. What was the city that they were in last time they were in Russia? In
Sochi.
Sochi, that's right. They had like a bear at the closing ceremony and opening ceremony that was like at the other ones. And that was, I thought that was cool. Like, oh, it's like a throwback to that.
Like a live bear?
No.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a giant plastic fake bear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that is so cool. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I love tradition and especially in other cultures, seeing how they do different things to put their own spin on the Olympics. Last fun fact, this is not in my notes, but I learned this last night. You know how all of the sports have their own icon? They always have really cool iconography for each sport that shows like the person doing whatever sport is. So Japan was apparently the one that first came up with that in 1964. They were trying to break down language barriers. So, you know, there were just signs in Japanese for all the sports. And they said, hey, let's develop some iconography for each sport and make it easier so you can see, oh, here's a guy doing shot put. That's the sport I need to go to. Like, there's the icon. And I thought that was really cool. I also thought it was interesting that nobody figured that out until 1964. But
they should have symbols.
Yeah, it took that long to get to that point. But now it's been a tradition ever since.
Wow.
So that's Noah's
Interesting.
Fun Fact Science Corner. Do you have any last ones to add, Ben?
I do know that there were a couple brother-sister, because this year the Olympic Committee asked both the teams to have both a male and female flag bearer, and many of the teams
Another
had
gender equality. That's awesome.
another gender equality thing. A lot of the teams had brother-sisters who were, not a lot of the teams, a couple of the teams had brothers and sisters who were their flag bearers for the teams, which I'm trying to remember which country they mainly talked about doing that, but I can't find it anywhere. But I know that was a thing. I know that it was a thing, I promise. Also, there has already been a medal won in the Olympics. Let me look up the current medal count for the 2021 Olympics, even though it'll be 2 days too late by the time you hear this. It is currently, China already has 4 medals.
Whoa.
In these Olympics, 3 gold and 1 bronze. Italy has a gold and a silver. Japan has a gold and a silver. South Korea has a gold and 2 bronzes. United States, 0.
USA.
USA.
Or a refugee Olympic team. I always support them both.
It's harder to chant that though. than
Yeah,
USA,
refugee Olympic
you know?
team. ROT, or ORT.
ROT.
It's one of those. I think it's ORT.
Olympic refugee. Yeah, I think it's ORT. We were. I was talking with my.
Ort.
Yeah, back to mixed martial arts. I was talking with my dad last night about when they were doing the opening ceremony. I was just like, I'm trying to think of what it'll be like in 2028 when they're like doing the opening ceremony and they kind of do like the history of the country thing. I'm just like, I wouldn't be surprised if they just had like a performance of Hamilton as our opening ceremony.
This will kind of cover
That's
it.
just it. It's like, here you go. Here's Hamilton. But
Man. 2028, that just sounds like an unreal number.
I know, it's so far
Sounds
away.
too far away.
I'm going to be 30.
Whoa.
You're going to be 30.
Plus a little extra.
Plus a little extra.
We're going to be so old.
We're going to be so...
Wow.
What dates are the Olympics going to be on? Because, like, they decide this stuff, so they already know which dates they're going to, like, occur during.
I think they were just going to play it by ear, see when people were free.
Yeah, see when people show up, yeah. Friday, July 21st through Sunday, August 6th. So, yeah, I will definitely be 30 by the time the LA Olympics happen.
Let's go. Let's make a pact. We will go to the LA Olympics as athletes. That's our goal.
Okay.
You get to pick your sport.
In fast-paced walking.
I'm going to try and make the celebrity all-star softball game. So I just need to become a celebrity.
That doesn't happen during the Olympics, but okay.
I think they should let celebrities compete at the Olympics. I think it would be more fun.
I disagree, but
I do too.
Oh, here's Kanye West
Competing at the Olympics?
Athlete. No, that was a joke.
That would be awesome.
I would pay to see Kanye West at the Olympics.
Just like send our highest paid celebrities instead of our best athletes.
Exactly.
Got Dwayne The Rock Johnson here.
Just randomly insert that.
I don't know who else is big.
Dwayne would be potentially good at a few of them. Like, he wouldn't be Olympic level.
That's true.
Good, but like he might do well.
He could do some
but
stuff.
Like, if we sent like
Owen
Steve
Wilson.
Buscemi, Steve Buscemi wouldn't do well.
I mean, Owen Wilson is gaining in popularity. Send him.
He would be on the jet ski team.
The jet ski. Or the racing, like the NASCAR racing team that they'll totally have by then.
They'll totally have by 2028. Well, that's another thing. They've already decided what events are going to be at the 2020 Olympics. They plan these things so far in advance. We already know that the 2032 Olympics are going to be in Brisbane, Australia, or Brisbane, however it's correctly pronounced.
Do we know that? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. It was just announced.
Oh, that'll be fun. It hasn't been in Australia in a while.
Not since 2000. When they were in Sydney.
Well, we strung this out for another hour.
We did. Almost an hour. We were
That's
right
amazing.
at an hour. That is so cool. And since we strung this out and you guys listened, thank you so much for listening to Noodles at Noon this week. Again, you can catch us at noodlespodcast.com.
Noodlespodcast.com.
Or anywhere podcasts are available. And make sure you follow along with the Olympics, as we are going to be there live and in person, breaking the law. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
Next time. I have no outro. I have nothing to say.